could it be? But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Washington football overtime. Rams, Washington, not pretty. Week number 5. A lot to get to with this football game as the Los Angeles Rams come into Washington and get the 30-10 victory. I will say this. Let the season begin. I think our season officially starts now. And the reason I got here a little bit later than I wanted to, I needed to make sure the Steelers, I needed to hold their hand and make sure they took care of the Eagles. Because someone's going to win with this game here, okay? The Giants and the Cowboys are going to play at 4:25. Someone's going to have to win a game there. I don't foresee a tie happening. Someone's going to win. So at least I had to make sure the Eagles fell to the Steelers because they were trying to come and win that game. They were trying to come back and get that one. I had to hold their hand, get them to the victory. Mission accomplished there. So our season, for all intents and purposes, for as bad as this looked today, it starts next week. Giants, Cowboys. Believe it's the Bengals, then the Giants again, then the Lions, and then the Cowboys. So what I'm essentially saying to you is if we're going to have a season, we weren't going to win this game. So I'm not getting bent out of shape. I don't like some of the things I saw today, and we'll talk about those things. But at the end of the day, we're 1-4. The Eagles are going to be 1-3-1. Dallas is probably going to be 2-3. I think they're going to beat the Giants. Who knows? Maybe the Giants sneak up and get those boys, and everybody's 1-4 except for Philadelphia. We'll see. Bottom line is, we got a chance to win a game next week. This is the first time in 2 weeks I thought we actually had a legitimate shot to win a game. So we'll see what happens. I told you guys something, and I was hoping I was wrong, but I knew I wasn't wrong because I know how to read people. What did I tell you? I told you guys Ron wants to get to Alex by hook or by crook. And he essentially told us so, which is why I told you so. I said, Ron wants to get to Alex, which is why he said, hey, this is a week-to-week thing with Kyle. He's got to come out and play well. And I didn't think Kyle played that bad in the first half, honestly speaking. I didn't. I liked the way the offense felt with Kyle back there. I liked his mobility. I want to get into a lot of things, but I want to get to your super chats more because I don't want to miss anybody's super chat. So I'm going to get to the super chats right away. This is from Door Gunner. Thank you for the super chat, Door Gunner. Greatly appreciate you. Door Gunner writes, defense was hot and cold again. Offensive line was awful and didn't help. Weather was a small factor, but consistently the same issues every week. I told you we haven't played a full 60-minute game yet on either side of the football. We haven't played a full game yet where we can say, man, we're proud of the defense for 4 quarters. Man, we're proud of the offense for 4 quarters. We haven't done it yet. And this game was no different. You had stretches where you're like, man, the defense is playing solid football. And then you were stretches where you say, man, this defense is awful. And they were for parts of this game today. Just terrible. We got problems in the secondary with the safety position. We got problems at linebacker. We got problems defensively. For as good as the front can be, we got problems defensively. Offensively, the offensive line was not good today. It was not good today, but I'm not going to put it all on the offensive line. I still got to go watch the film. But I can tell you when Alex got in there, his eyes were dropping immediately. As soon as his first read wasn't there, Alex was tucking and looking to run out of the first back door he could get to. The first exit he could find, he was looking to get there, and there was no exit. And he ran into at least 3 or 4 sacks. So before you crucify the offensive line, they were not good. I'm not here to defend the offensive line. But Alex did not help. I bet you if Kyle Allen stayed in there, we would not have given up 7 or 8 sacks or whatever it was today. I guarantee that. I guarantee it. Now, what was my number 1, 2, and number 3 keys to the game offensively? Stop Aaron Donald. Block Aaron Donald was the exact phrase I used. How'd that go today? Anyway, I digress. Thank you for the super chat, Door Gunner. Got another one here from DH. Tried to tell people it wasn't Dwayne. Offense regress. Only thing thrown were checkdowns. I didn't feel that way with Kyle Allen in the game. I thought we were doing some good things, especially on that one drive where he took us down the field and scored. I thought we could build upon that. And then I felt like the rain came and we really started to bog down. But I still, even before the injury, I still felt good. If the defense could just start getting stops, I felt like with all the plays that were made, like Kendall Fuller and the stop to start the second half, if Kyle Fuller's still in there, Allen, excuse me, I think we still have a shot in this game. I beg to differ on the whole check down thing. I told you I wanted to get the ball to the backs anyway. So I didn't have a problem with them checking it down, but that's Alex's first thing. That's his go-to move, is to check it down. Kyle Allen was going through his progressions and then checking it down. So there's a big difference, but the offense wasn't good today, period. End of discussion. CGM 87. Lou, I told you Scott Turner is an absolute clown, bro. I'd honestly take Jim Zorn. Stop. I can't allow you to talk reckless like that. Jim Zorn was the absolute worst. Stop. He says, over this stupid damn 3-yard pass and let the bum SOB go coach Pop Warner where that crap works. I'm sick of this S. I can't let you do that. Look, Scott Turner, and you guys have this really, really bad habit of overreacting to one game. The Rams are better than us. They were supposed to beat us. I don't know what you thought this was, but I wasn't happy with his play calling today, but not because of the same reasons you are disappointed. I would have liked him to do more short passes. I thought that they should have run the screen game more. Any way to get the ball out of Alex's hands. Too many drop backs for Alex just because he's a veteran. Oh, he can drop back. This offensive line was struggling. Alex himself, this man has not been hit in damn near 2 calendar years. 693 days since the last time this man stepped on a football field and took a hit. You really think his first thought is to I'm going to stand in this pocket, despite being under duress, I'm going to stand in this pocket, be tough, and deliver the football down. You think that's what he's really thinking in his head? No. His first thing is, if the first read isn't there, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. And that's what he did, and he ran into at least 4 sacks in this game. No, the offensive line was not good, but Alex wasn't good. Alex was scared. He should have been scared. This is why you can't throw him in there like this. I would have much rather them said, hey, we like Kyle, and I don't know how healthy Kyle Allen really was to come back into this game, but I felt like he looked like he was good enough to come back in. Bottom line is, I would have much rather them said, hey, we gave Kyle a week. We wanted to give Alex a chance to ramp it up and rev it up. I told you that's exactly what Ron was doing, trying to give Alex a chance to rev it up. And when he thinks Alex is ready, he's going to put him in there. Well, he must have thought Alex was ready today because he left him in there. And I guess he said, we're going to get this Alex Smith train going. And you know what? In that way, I don't blame him because he said, look, we got to pull the Band-Aid off at some point of Alex. It's going to hurt. 1, 2, on the count of 3, I'm going to pull the Band-Aid off. 1, 2, rip. And he said, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off today. We're not going to win anyway. Let Alex take his lumps today so he can get the hit out of the way, so he can get the nervous energy out of the way. And next week, when we really got a shot to beat the Giants, he'll be ready to go. He won't be nervous, and he would have already gotten hit. We've gotten that out of the way. I understand it from that standpoint, but you actually had a chance to win a game today. We weren't going to win, but Kyle Allen gave you the best shot today. Maybe Kyle Allen gives you the best shot next week too. But they're going to roll with Alex. This is their guy moving forward. So here it is. A lot of you wanted this. You're going to get it. I don't know if this is what I really wanted. I know this is not what I wanted. Now we got it. Let's see what we got. Thank you for the super chat, CGM87. Let's see. Got another super chat. This one is from Santiago Tradell. Thank you for the super chat, Santiago Tradell. Greatly appreciate you. Santiago says, I love the fact that Haskins was reportedly sick today because he wasn't on the field. There were so many mixed reports. The whole Dwayne situation is getting ugly. There's so many reports. There were a couple of more stories this morning. This feels eerily similar to the Bruce Allen era here. This feels eerily similar to the last 20 years, where now we're getting all these leaks. We're getting all these stories about Dwayne. So this morning it was, Dwayne called in sick. Then you get Julie Donaldson, who works for the team. So what is she going to say? Oh, Dwayne was going to come in, but the team told him stay at home because he really wanted to come in. No, he didn't, Julie. Nice try, Julie. We're not stupid, Julie. All right. So then Pam Oliver comes on and says, hey, no, look, Dwayne called in sick, essentially. And that's the story. Is Dwayne called in sick? He didn't want to be out there. It was raining. I wouldn't have wanted to be out there. All right. He wants out. They want him gone. So this situation now, and then one of the stories this morning was reportedly Washington is going to look to move him before the trade deadline. Like, why are we doing this? Can this man just be a third-string quarterback in peace? Obviously not. That's not how we do things in Washington. We make everything a big, as my man, a wise man once told me or likes to say, we like to make everything a big drama show. Well, that's what we're doing here. And nobody produces a big drama show better than the Washington football team. Nobody. I mean, nobody. So a lot of nonsense, but at the end of the day, I digress. Let's move forward. CGM 87. Double up. Let me double up on you. Thank you for doubling up and appreciate the super chat. CGM 87, who writes, Ron is going to be lucky to make it 3 or 4 years. This team is actually worse than last year's. This will be a shanty rerun from a defensive coach. I don't agree with any of that statement. None of it. Like, now, maybe the 3 to 4. Let me run that back. Maybe the 3 to 4 situation might be accurate, but this team is not as bad, nowhere near as bad as the 2009 team when Shanahan first took over, 2010 team, I think it was, when Shanahan first took over. This is nowhere near last year's team, which was one of the worst teams I had ever seen in Washington football history. These eyes, at least. I can't speak for anybody else. This team isn't anywhere near that. So stop. Okay, you're in the moment. You're in your feelings. Stop. This team, there's a lot wrong with this team fundamentally. But we are not worse than we were last year. Okay, we went a full almost month without scoring a single touchdown last year. Stop. Okay, stop. I know you're upset. I know you're in your feelings right now. Stop it. Okay, stop it. Because last year we would have lost this game 40-10. We would have lost this game 40-3. We wouldn't have even scored a touchdown last year. Stop. DMV fan 123 says we are definitely a top 5 pick worthy. You guys are going to change your tune over the next 6 weeks. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win all of these games, but we're going to win 2 or 3 of these games. All right, 2 or 3 of these games, we're going to win. We may win 4 of them. We may win 5 of them. I don't know. Okay, you're going to feel a lot different. We've been playing some quality opponents the last 3 weeks. The Browns are 3-1. Okay, the Ravens are 4-1, and the Rams are 4-1. We've played some quality teams the last 3 weeks. This team is not as bad. Now, they looked horrible today. There was a lot of circumstances and factors weighing in as to why we looked as bad as we looked today. Trust me. I'm not going to sit here and act like we didn't look like a shit show today, because we did. However, there are reasons as to why. I guarantee you this. I feel confident in saying this. The last time I guaranteed you something, I came up big for you. I came up clutch. I guarantee you we don't look as bad next week against the Giants. I guarantee it right now. Anyway, I digress. We're not going to be drafting in the top 5, guys. I know you guys feel that way after today, and I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you, because we look like a top 3 pick worthy team after today's performance. We did, but that's not going to be how we look moving forward. Damn Twin Shorty Sublime, thank you for the super chat. I greatly appreciate that. Damn Twin writes, we have more problems than one, but I am now convinced that our O-line is the most problematic unit on the field. No QB stands a chance behind that line. I don't agree. I'm sorry. I don't. And again, today is not the day for me to sit here and try to sell you on the offensive line. So I'm not going to. But I told you already. I tweeted this. I retweeted something that John Keim said, which is that the offensive line has not been as bad as you think. I told you I'm still behind on Chris Cooley's film breakdowns, but I just finished hearing him talk about the Browns game, and he was very complimentary of the offensive line against the Browns. Okay. They were good against the Ravens last week. Again, I haven't listened to it, but I guarantee you he didn't think they were the problem last week either. And really, Dwayne got it out of his hands quickly, so it was tough for the offensive line to be a big problem. But this was the first big challenge they've had because Aaron Donald is a problem. Leonard Floyd off the edge is a problem. The Rams are another one of these really talented defensive fronts that can create problems. And Aaron Donald by himself, and for the life of me, I don't know why this guy wasn't being double teamed consistently in this game. He won a ton of one-on-one matchups, whether it was Wes Martin or it was Wes Schweitzer. How is he not being double teamed? I don't know. I don't understand that logic at all. The one guy that can wreck your game plan is 99, and we let him wreck the game plan. I just don't understand that. But that's what they chose to do, and he kicked our ass. And we saw this coming a mile away, and they still didn't do anything about it. But I refuse to believe that the offensive line is the most problematic unit in on this team. We've got a lot of issues on this football team. I don't think the offensive line is by miles away the biggest one. It may be ultimately the biggest problem. It may be, when it's all said and done. But I think we've got bigger pressing issues on the defensive side of football, because we always said that if we were going to win and be competitive this year, it was going to be because of our defense, not our offense, but our defense. Some of you forgot that conversation. As soon as the season started, you forgot that conversation, that we were supposed to be winning games on defense. If we're going to have a chance, we were going to have to hold teams down. That's another week that we've given up 30 points on the scoreboard. Can't blame the offense for turning it over and setting up a short field. That's all the defense is doing, giving up 30 today. In a rainstorm, you are not supposed to give up 30 on a day like today where it was wet and nasty out. These are the kind of games that you're supposed to play, and it's supposed to be 16-10. 13-9, not 30-10. But the defense couldn't get off the field. The defense couldn't get stops. They gave up explosive big plays again. We've got problems defensively that trump the offensive line, to me. Because, again, we're not going to beat anybody solely off the strength of our offense. We're not beating anybody in a shootout. We need the defense to step up and get stops. Couldn't get off the field on third down again today. Couldn't stop the tight end. I told you the tight end is a big problem for us. I named two guys, and one in particular in Gerald Everett. I said, he's an athletic guy. Sean McVay drafted him to be his Jordan Reed. Well, you saw why today. He kicked our ass. We have problems defensively at safety and linebacker in particular. Until you clean that up, teams are going to be able to get big plays on us. Teams are going to be able to isolate weaknesses. So the offensive line wasn't good, and I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise today, but there are other problems on this team. As you mentioned, you said we have more than one problem. I don't think the offensive line is head and shoulders above some of the other problems that we have. Home AM. Thank you for the super chat. Home AM says, this was a pathetic performance on every level. Ron has 2 strikes for me. Alex does not belong in the NFL anymore. This was a pathetic performance on every level. I cannot deny that. I can't deny that. However, Ron doesn't have 2 strikes for me, but for you, that's fine. I can't defend Ron. Some of the things he's done are, to me, indefensible. Like today's decision, I can only defend it in one way, and I've already said it, which is, hey, we got to get Alex out there, because I told you he wanted to get to Alex from the jump. This was always his plan. Once he realized we had a chance in the division, his goal was to get to Alex by hook or by crook. And all the Rams did with that hit by Ramsey was they expedited the process. And it gave Ron an opportunity to say, you know what? If we think Alex is the guy moving forward, we might as well just let him get hit today. Let him get all the nervous energy out today, because he's going to be our guy moving forward. Well, that's what he did. I don't agree with it, but I understand the logic. Thank you for that super chat, Home AM. CGM83, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you. CGM87, excuse me. Thank you for tripling up. CGM87, who writes, oh, and one more rant. So glad we spent so much draft capital on the stout defensive line to allow 6 to 8 yards per rush. Oh, and the amazing pressure on the opposing QB. A joke. So, again, you're going to come after the defensive line. And I've already explained this to you. Until somebody else steps up, and Sweat had a sack, forced fumble. We needed that to be a recovery by Washington there. Until somebody else steps up, not other than Chase Young. Because I told you when we drafted these guys, you cannot get upset. They are who they are. They're not pass rushers. Jonathan Allen's not a pass rusher. Daron Payne is not a pass rusher. The one guy on the interior that could affect the quarterback is out for the season. There's nothing you can do there. And they're going to double team Chase Young. I told you that in the summer. That once teams figure out Chase Young and they see him, because nobody was going to respect him initially. They're going to say, hey, let's see what the young fella really has. And after the first 2 weeks, teams realize he's the real deal. We got to chip him. We got to double him. Well, he's not going to see a bunch of one-on-one matchups without getting chipped by the tight end or the back on the way out. He's going to have a tough uphill sled on his route, because teams are going to come after him. So now somebody else has to win. We don't have those guys. And as for the rush per yards and all that, you can really throw that out the window. I know I used to kill Greg Minuski for this, but they had a 44-yard run in there. It's not like they were gashing us all day on the ground. They held up on the ground for the most part. They had one big run in there by Cam Akers, and Troy Apke could have made a tackle. Go figure. You know, that's the same name we keep calling over and over again. At the end of the day, the D-line was solid. It wasn't terrible. It was solid. It didn't get enough pressure. But guess what? This is a tough Rams team to get pressure on, number one, because they do such a good job of making runs and passes look exactly the same. And number two, they neutralize our best pass rusher, and somebody else has to win. And nobody else did, except for Montez Sweat that one play. Santiago Tradell, double up, thank you for doubling up. Santiago Tradell, who writes, our offense was better last year. Stop it. I can't with you guys right now. Our offense looked like how we looked today, last year. Minus the touchdown. You guys forget that there was a stretch there where we didn't score a touchdown for almost a month, where we were so inept. It was a joke. And you're going to sit here and tell me the offense was better last year? It's like you guys are in the Twilight Zone or something. There's no way you could think this. I'm telling you guys, the offense will look better next week. But I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. But for you to sit here and think that this offense looked like last year's offense this week. This is the first time this year where I said, man, this offense looks very similar to last year, where we were just abysmal offensively. I can't with you guys. I cannot. King of the North. Thank you for the super chat. As always, King of the North writes, Ron named Kyle starter for next week. Rams picked on Bostic every third down in the first half. Why not pull Bostic on third downs? Collins was bad again. We don't have a QB, period. I don't know why he didn't put Kyle back in there. And I don't care what Ron says now, because Ron did this last week where he pretty much backed Dwayne and then, was really lukewarm on him throughout the course of the week. He let him start against the Ravens. And then last week he was like, I want Dwayne to start. We'll see, essentially. And then he benched him. So we'll see what he decides to do. He should have put Kyle back in this game. This is the game that you had a chance. It was 20-10 at halftime. You had a shot. The defense comes out, gets a stop. I like Kyle Allen in the way the offense moved with him back there. He knows his offense better than Alex. He's got more mobility at this point of his career than Alex does. I just felt like he had a good feel, and he seemed to see the field well. I felt good with him back there. I'm not going to lie to you. When he got hurt, I felt like this offense never had a shot, and I tweeted that out. Bostic was terrible in this game. We'll talk more about him. The film, oh, man. He's going to get shredded in the film. Bostic was terrible. This is his worst game this season, and it's not even close. The touchdown run by Jared Goff, that's all John Bostic. I mean, that is just piss poor pathetic on him. He literally stood there and watched Jared Goff run into the end zone. The tight end is right there, and he's kind of caught in the middle. What do I do? Should I leave the tight end? Well, you got a defender right behind you covering the tight end. You go after Jared Goff. No, he stands there. Let's Goff trollop into the end zone. It's pathetic. Collins wasn't as bad as he was 2 weeks ago against the Browns, but he made some plays today. The secondary is just bad. Collins was bad in coverage. I got to watch the film to see exactly who was the culprit on the 56-yard touchdown pass, but Kendall Fuller turned him loose as if he was expecting safety help over the top. That's a tough one. Again, film will kind of tell the story on that one, but a lot of guys weren't good today. It wasn't just, one or two guys. A lot of guys were not good today, period. Barrett Downey, my man BD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, BD, who writes, Lou, I'm old enough to have seen the glory days, but he said, but that was brutal to watch. We need a lot of help. The O-line was no words to describe. HTTLTN. So if you're old enough to have seen the glory years, then this is hard. This is hard to stomach. But then again, the last 20 years have been hard to stomach. Hell, the last 25, 30 years have been tough to stomach if you lived through the glory years. But there was, again, this game reminded me a lot of last year's game. There was everything that we saw last year from a team that went 3-13. There were defensive breakdowns. There were big plays given up. The offense was anemic. We barely had 100 yards of total offense. The only thing that was different in this game was that Kyle Allen made this offense look professional. Don't sit here and tell me that you thought that this game was going to be out of control like it ultimately got to after Kyle Allen took us down the field 7-6 and we took the lead. This is why I can't sit here and let you guys talk about this team is worse than last year, because last year at no point of any game did I feel like we were going to win. None. Even the Dolphins game that we won. I sat there and watched that game and said, we are pathetic. We are trash. We should have lost that game. If the Dolphins don't go for 2, we lose that game too. If they just kick the extra point, go to overtime, they had all the momentum. They beat us in that game. We barely beat Detroit with their 19th string quarterback. We were awful last year. When Kyle Allen took us down the field and we took the lead 7-6, I said, this is how the offense is supposed to look. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he stays in a rhythm and the weather doesn't get the best of us and we can find a way to block Aaron Donald somewhat, we're going to have a chance in this game. Once he got hurt, we had 0 chance. And I told you guys as much. So don't sit here and tell me this felt like last year and this was the worst you've ever seen. Last year, we didn't have a chance in any game. And the ones that we did win, we barely won. We were never the better team in any game last season. Period. We're going to be the better team in some of these games this year. And we're going to win some of these games, and I'm going to expect to win some of these games. I didn't expect us to win a single game last year. I expected to win week 1, and we did. Anyway, I digress. It was brutal to watch. I can't deny that, BD. But this wasn't last year bad. I mean, again, this team is nowhere near as bad as last year. For those of you that think so, I can't help you with that. I can't help you with that. Extra Squaw says, thank you for the super chat, first and foremost, Extra Squaw, who writes, understand that you love Scott Turner. Let me amend that statement. I do not love Scott Turner. I think he's been doing a quality job. I do not love Scott Turner. I do think he is a quality offensive coordinator. I do not think he did a good job today. So let me amend that statement that you're making because you're putting words in my mouth. Never, ever have I said, I love Scott Turner. I said, I love the job that he's doing. I like his play calling right now. I think he's doing some creative things. He's getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands. He's done some good things. Today was not his best showing. But he says, but we should have kept KOC, period. By the way, Kyle Allen should be the starter next week, 100%. If we would have kept Kevin O'Connell, which, again, you guys make the assumption that Kevin O'Connell wanted to be here. We don't know the facts behind that situation. I don't know if Kevin O'Connell wanted to be here. I know that Ron probably didn't want Kevin O'Connell here, but I know there was an interview, okay? At the end of the day, he hired the guy that he wanted to hire, which was Scott Turner. And, you know, if Kevin O'Connell is here, maybe Dwayne's further along, knows the offense, knows the verbiage. Maybe it's a different situation, but that's hindsight. That's nor here nor there. You deal with the cards that you're dealt. And so this is the hand that we have. Now we got to play it. Scott Turner's here. This was not his best performance, but he's been quality up until this point. And so I like what he's done. Today was not a good day for him. With the weather the way it was, with the offensive line having the struggles and having problems dealing with Aaron Donald, you got to get the ball. This should have looked, the game last week with all the bubble screens and the slants, this game should have looked like that game. All right, this was more of that type of game than last week was. And I thought he just, because of the veteran nature of the quarterback, Alex Smith being in there, and Kyle Allen's ability to know the offense and get the ball out, he felt more comfortable calling drop back today when he should have been getting the football out of his quarterback's hands. I didn't think he did a good enough job of that today. We didn't see enough screens. Hell, I don't know if we saw one wide receiver screen. After that being a steady diet and a big part of what we were digesting as an offense, I don't think we ate one screen today. I don't think we ate one screen. I don't remember seeing a single screen on the plate today. Did you? I know we threw one to the running back or tried to, but I don't think we saw one wide receiver screen today, which is crazy. Thank you for the super chat, Extra Squaw. Got another super chat here from Kevin, the PRF. Appreciate you, Kev, who writes, Bostic is catching my hate. He looks lost. Davis Jr. balled out in coverage. Sweat bailed him out on a missed tackle for a long run going for a touchdown. Bostic was not good today. And I told you, he's a backup at best. I don't hate John Bostic on this roster. I don't hate the fact that he's playing. The fact that he's starting and they're relying on him so heavily tells you that we just don't have a lot at linebacker. Sean Dion is not what we thought he was going to be. He's been really bad at times this season. Cole Holcomb, who wasn't even getting reps anyway before he got injured in week 1, didn't address today. He was not active after practicing all week. So don't know if there was a setback there or if they just didn't want him active. I don't understand why they would not want him active if he was healthy. But the fact that John Bostic is starting tells you that we just don't have it at linebacker this year. And you can't fix all the ills that this team had in one offseason. You know, there's a bunch of money for them to spend in the upcoming offseason. We'll have some draft capital to play around with. They've got a lot of holes to fill in this roster. We had a lot of holes coming into this season. We knew that. You know, when Ron took over, there were a lot of holes on this football team. You weren't going to fix all of them overnight. And, you know, you plug in a couple of veterans and some stopgap guys to try to get you by. And that's where we're at with ours right now defensively. You know, at specific positions, you plug in a couple of guys and you hope they work out for you. You know, Apke isn't the answer at safety. They tried DeShazer Everett. He got his ass whooped today. Did some stupid shit today. Missed some tackles today. Messed up in coverage a couple of times today. They put Apke back in the game so he can miss some tackles today. You know, there's no answer. You guys were clamoring for Cameron Curl to go back there. Well, he got his ass whooped on the Cooper Kupp slant on third down, where Cooper Kupp breaks him off something proper and then runs for like 55 yards. Damn near scores a touchdown. That was all Cameron Curl. Got his ass whooped on that route. So there's nowhere to turn. And I like Cameron Curl. I think he's done some really good things. I told you I like my Cameron Curl attacking the line of scrimmage as an underneath defender and a box safety. That's how I like my Cameron Curl. Not in coverage. So I digress. Thank you for the super chat, Kevin, the PRF. Kevin Dorofield, thank you for the super chat, KD. Greatly appreciate you. Kevin writes, Lou, I'm pissed, man. Not a lot of good to say after Allen went off after that filth from Ramsey. Smith must be blind. He can't see anyone open. Shaking my head. Look, I'm not going to beat up Alex Smith. He was put in a no-win situation today in a pouring rainstorm with an offensive line that was struggling and a play caller that didn't acknowledge the fact that it was a rainstorm and your offensive line is struggling and didn't do anything to help a quarterback that was making his first appearance in almost a full 2 calendar years. You can't drop Alex Smith back and expect him to read the field when there's a lot of chaos going on around him. The first thing that he's going to do is go to read one. If it's not there, he's going to look to run because now it's going fast and there's a lot of pressure around him. There should have been screens galore. The Rams should have been vomiting screens, slants, pick plays, all kinds of stuff to try to get the ball out of Alex's hands quickly. But Alex didn't take any reps really in practice. And this is why you don't put him in this situation. This was a situation where he was set up to fail. But I think I know what Ron was doing. But if what you guys are telling me is true, and Ron is going back to Kyle, then this made absolutely zero sense. None. I don't know what Ron thought he was accomplishing by putting a guy that didn't get really any reps in training camp. All the number 1 reps went to Dwayne, and the reps that Dwayne didn't take with the ones, they went to Kyle Allen. All the reps this season have gone to Dwayne. And what reps weren't going to Dwayne, we're going to Kyle Allen. So now that Dwayne is number 3, Kyle Allen is taking all your number 1 reps. And this is the first time Alex is taking some meaningful reps in practice. And you're going to just throw him out there? That's a joke. So unless you're telling me, and it sounds like you guys are telling me Ron said something differently, unless you were going to say, hey, Alex is our guy moving forward. And we wanted to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. If we felt like Alex was the guy moving forward, we needed him to get all that nervous energy out of there, take a hit, get his feet wet again, understand what it's like to be out on the field and know that you don't have on a yellow jersey and you can and will get hit. We needed him to go through that. And yeah, it was a rough day, but he went through it, he got through it, and now we feel like we can move forward with Alex Smith. If that's what you were going to tell me, okay, fine. But if you're telling me, hey, Kyle was able to go back in, but we just thought, the safer play was go to Alex. That's I just don't get that. I don't buy that, and I don't understand that at all. Got another super chat here from CGM87. Thank you for the super chat, CGM87. Greatly appreciate you, CGM87, who writes, okay, Lou, I lied. One more rant. I love it. Keep it coming. He says, Masco can F right off with Turner. Okay, he said, you'd have more resistance from wrapping paper than this O-line. Just surprised Morgan Moses didn't have 3 to 4 holding penalties today. Look, offensive line wasn't good today. And I got to give the Rams credit because they continued to apply pressure. They came with 5 a bunch today. And they knew we were struggling up front. And when you come with 5, if you don't protect with 6, and we didn't do a lot of jet protection. We didn't keep an extra guy in there for safety purposes. We tried to get the back out of the backfield because that's who Alex wanted to get the football to. So they were aware. They were very keen that, look, with Alex Smith back there, this guy's a sitting duck. They're not keeping a running back in because that's who Alex wants to throw the football to. If we could just cover up the tight end really quick, that's who Alex probably wants to get it to. If we could just cover up the tight end and take away that first read, we got him. We got him. And that's what they did today. They took away the first read. They came with 5-man pressures, sometimes 4, but Aaron Donald he counts as 2 defenders. So if they come with 5, it's really 6. If they come with 4, it's really 5 because Aaron Donald is worth 2 guys down there. He's that good. And we didn't handle it well. And really, it really was just Aaron Donald. Like, we sit here and we talk about this. It's not like they had 19 sacks spread out over 7 different guys. One guy had 3, another guy had 3. And the guy that had 3 that's not named Aaron Donald, this Reader guy, he's a linebacker that's blitzing. So for all intents and purposes, one was a free hit where he had the running back out of the backfield. The running back stayed in the block. Well, somebody's got to block. He came on a green dog. All right, he came on a late delayed blitz because he was covering the running back, didn't have anything to do, so he decided to come. And Alex held onto the ball for 29 seconds. What do you think is going to happen? The other sack where Alex tries to, you got to get away from him. He literally got a piece of Alex's cleat, and he sacked him. Kyle Allen gets away right there. So, look, the offensive line wasn't great. I'm not going to try to defend them today. I need to watch the film, but I can tell you they weren't great today. And I'm not going to try to defend them, but it wasn't just all the offensive line. I'll say that. Thank you for another rant, CGM87. Got another super chat here from Jay Lee. Thank you for the super chat, Jay Lee, who writes, cut Jeremy Sprinkle, please. Kilt momentum. Yeah, get his ass out of here. I used to defend Jeremy Sprinkle. Sprinkle me, bitch. Sprinkle me. Get his ass the hell out of here. He can't catch claps in a whorehouse. That hurt because we were up 7-6. You had some momentum. If he catches that pass, either you're getting a first down or it's 3rd and short. And then remember, on the next play, we complete a pass and to Terry, I believe, or Logan Thomas or McKissick, one or the other. And we end up like a yard short of the first down. It was McKissick because I thought Ron should have went for it in that moment. I thought that was a missed opportunity to go for it on 4th and 1 there, especially with the way the defense had been struggling to that point. I think the score might have even been 13-7 at that point. I think the Rams had scored a second touchdown, and that's why I felt like we needed to go for it because the defense hadn't gotten a stop, and it didn't look like they were going to get a stop. And so whether you punt it or you give it to them right there, the offense was going to score the Rams. That's how I felt at that moment of the game. And they did. We punted the ball, and they drove it right down our throats and scored again. So I was right. So you might as well have gone for it. Now, obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but in the moment I said, hey, you got to go for this. Our defense is struggling right now. They need to pick me up. And, yeah, Sprinkle's drop was massive because you combine the catch by McKissick and Sprinkle's catch, and it's going to probably net you a first down. Obviously, there may be a different play call if Sprinkle catches it and it turns up to be 3rd and 2. But catch goddamn football. But, again, that's Jeremy Sprinkle. That's always been Jeremy Sprinkle here in Washington. I actually like the Tamarick Hemingway guy. I'd like to see if Ball comes back, sit Sprinkle's ass down. Now, again, I don't know how everybody blocks and if Sprinkle's our best blocking tight end, which isn't saying much if that's the case because we've seen Sprinkle in the past as a blocking tight end. Hasn't always been the best. But I'd like to see more of the Tamarick Hemingway guy. I thought he did some really good things, man. Caught a nice little pass on the boot and, got a first down, looked comfortable catching that. I'd like to see more of him. Anyway, I digress. See. Oh, man. Got a super chat here from Poopin' for Noopin'. Thank you for the super chat, Poopin' for Noopin'. Greatly appreciate you. He says, I really, really appreciate you, Poopin' for Noopin', for that super chat. He says, I don't know about you, but it seems like they're putting Logan Thomas way too high on the priority list of this offense's focus. Force feed Terry. Thomas should not be the first read on anything. I don't have a problem with him being the first read on a 1st and 10 and he sits down over the ball and it's a 5-yard gain. I don't have a problem with him being the first read on 3rd and 2 and you're trying to get, 3 yards and he runs a 4-yard stop route. I don't have a problem with him being the first read on certain situations, but the biggest problem is that when you're under duress or you feel like you're under duress, as Alex did in this game, the closest guy, the easiest guy for you to get the football to is the tight end. I've said this. That's why the tight end is a security blanket because he's the guy that the quarterback sees first. He's right there over the football. You feel like you're panicking. If you get a look that you like and the tight end sits down, you're going to force it to him like Alex did on that 4th down. Like, That's not where you should be going with that football, especially when they know that's where you want to go with that football. But, I told you Alex wasn't comfortable back there, and I don't blame him. The offensive line wasn't great, and, that's how it is, But Alex, in saying that, he had a shot to Terry down the field, and he missed him. And, we don't have enough of those opportunities being taken, but Terry was behind the defense by about 2 yards. Got to hit that one. That could have been a big play in the game. Probably not going to change the outcome of the game, but, you feel good about that. But I feel you on Logan Thomas. I just think that it's just a convenience thing, really, with Logan Thomas. They just decided to get him the football because of the situation that they're in. A lot of times he's the guy that's right there. But Derek B., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Derek B. says, and Allen, thumbs down. Sacks, running scared, knocked the F out. I don't agree with that. I thought Allen looked good. I thought he did some good things. And I love the fact that he brought a level of mobility that we haven't seen this entire season. The touchdown run, even on the play that he got lit up on and knocked out of the game ultimately. How about that run? Making a couple of defenders miss, getting to the outside and giving you a chance to pick up a third down on that play. That was all Kyle Allen. Like, I actually liked what I was seeing. I'm sorry. I don't agree with some of you guys that didn't like Kyle Allen in this game. I thought the offense looked pretty solid with him under center. Anyway, I digress. I got another super chat here from William Lee. The offense has no identity, bad defense, bad offense, special teams, not special. No, that's the biggest problem with this football team right now is that they don't have an identity. There is no identity for which to speak of. We don't know if we can run the football well. We don't know if we can throw it well. We don't have anything that we can hang our hat on. Remember, that was the thing that I said in the offseason. I'm like, what is Scott Turner's identity as an offensive play caller? We know what the Panthers did. And remember, he wasn't the coordinator all year last year with the Panthers. He got the final 4 games of the season. So it's hard to really pinpoint what Scott Turner does well, what he's looking to do and emphasize. We really don't know after 4 or 5 weeks now of football. We have no idea what Scott Turner's looking to do from a game plan perspective. And, the best teams in the league are camouflage. If they're playing a team that can't stop the run, they're willing to run it 40 times. If the team they're playing against has problems stopping the pass or they can't stop the tight end, then that's how you attack. But we're not a team that can attack anything right now. We're just not. And so, unfortunately for us, we're just not getting the job done. And it's a shame because, as you mentioned, you really don't know what you can hang your hat on. On the defensive side of the football, losing Ioannidis is massive. Young is going to get double teamed. Who's going to step up and get pressure on the quarterback? Nobody, apparently. Again, Montez Sweat with a big sack today. That was great to see, but we need more of it. We need more of it. And Chase Young can't do it by himself. Other guys have to get to the quarterback. So, and the secondary is, I actually like the way the corners are playing. I thought Darby had another strong game today. Fuller with the pick, another pick, and 3 now in 2 weeks for Fuller. 3 in 3 weeks if you count him playing against Cleveland. That was his first game back, but 3 picks in the last 2 weeks for Fuller. The corners aren't the problem right now. It's the safeties and the linebackers that are the big problems, because we can sit here and complain about not getting pressure or this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, these are massive coverage busts. These aren't like, oh man, quarterback had too much time to throw. Of course, this guy came wide open. No, these guys are open as the quarterback's back foot is hitting the ground. Guys are wide ass open down the field. It's ridiculous. Thank you for the super chat, William Lee. Got another one here from Gearcell 1. Thank you for the super chat, Gearcell 1. Gearcell writes, Scott Turner is not his dad. Offense is pathetic. Overhyped D-line is overrated and can't stop the run. In Ron, I trust, not with his flannel shirt and sweatpants wearing butt. So, Scott Turner is not his dad. And no one ever said he was going to be his dad. He's his own man, and he's got to figure out his own way in this league. As for this defensive line, I told you it wasn't the 49ers, because the difference in what San Francisco could do is they could get pressure from the interior with the guys that they've drafted, which is the problem I had with the guys that we've drafted. They aren't DeForest Buckner, Alan Norpain or DeForest Buckner or Eric Armstead. Neither one of them. All right. Those two guys can generate pressure by themselves. And so when you look at Allen and Payne, they're quality defenders. And I know you're going to talk about the run. Those guys play the run well. I won't let you sit there and deface their run defense character. I won't let you do it because they play good defense, run defense. Their problem is when we get into third and here's the defense's problem. So we get the stop on first down, whether it's an incomplete pass or they run it on first down and we stop them for a no gain of 1. Here's the problem on second and 9, second and 11, and they had this a couple of times in this game where the defense stood up on first down. They get 6 or they get 7 on second down. There was one play in this game. I don't know how. It was early in the game. The Rams had second and 17, second and 15. And they ended up in a 3rd and 7. How? Why? What are you doing? That's what I'm talking about. You can't give up big chunks on second down and let them get to third and manageable. We did today, and they ate us alive on third downs in this game for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I think some of you guys overrated the defensive line. I didn't, because I told you I have a problem with the lack of pass rush on the interior. I felt really good about this defensive line with Matt Ioannidis on the football team being able to get pressure from the interior. I don't think you guys understand how big of a loss that is, because getting pressure on the interior is just as, if not more so important than getting it off the edges, because if you don't have it in the middle, quarterback can just step up. And if you double teamed Chase Young, Ioannidis was getting one-on-one. So anyway, I digress. Got another one here. V. Chrissy, thank you for the super chat. V. Chrissy, who writes, we stopped the run. Our D-line isn't overrated. I thought we did a quality job stopping the run for the most part today. There were times where we didn't stop the run as much as we would have liked to, especially late in the ball game, but that's nor here nor there. There have been times where I've been disappointed with the run defense, but that's to me one of the least of our problems. I don't feel like the Rams gashed us in the run game and we had no answers for them like I did when we were playing the Browns, but we were banged up against the Browns. No Chase Young, no Ioannidis. It was the first time this defense had no Young, no Ioannidis. Yeah, there's some things that we could do better defensively, but it's tough to really be aggressive when you have issues at linebacker and at safety. It's tough to be aggressive as a defense. You know, Jack was aggressive early on in the season. You got to kind of dial that back a bit because you're having trouble in the secondary and on the back end of the defense. Let's see. Got another super chat here from Jose. Or first of all, I got a super chat here from Kevin, the PRF. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Kevin, the PRF, who writes, what's the deal with Young? He was out in the middle of the game. I thought they were giving him the day off in the 4th when he was back in. No, there's nothing wrong with Young. Remember, that's been the way that they've been playing around with the defensive line. They want to keep everybody fresh. That's the thing they've been doing all year. I don't always love it because I feel like in some crucial situations, I'm looking down and I'm seeing Ryan Anderson and Ryan Kerrigan in the game, and I'm like, what do you think we're going to do with those two guys in on 3rd and 6? And then they promptly complete a pass for 8-9 yards in a first down, and I'm like, I don't know what you thought you were going to do, but those guys aren't going to get any pressure. So, it is what it is. But that's what they've been doing, even when he was healthy. There were a bunch of times where Chase Young was on the sideline, and they're just going to rotate these guys in and out. And I don't have a problem with that until I have a problem with that. And so his first week back, they want to make sure they keep that snap count down. I have no problems with that. None at all. Let's see. Got another super chat here from Jose Martin. Thank you for the super chat. Jose Martin, greatly appreciate you. Jose writes, Ron just said in his interview that if Kyle Allen is healthy, he will play next week. To me, that's the guy that gives you the best chance to win. After watching the tidbit that I watched today, to me, it's not even close. He's the quarterback that gives this offense the best chance to move the football efficiently, effectively, and within the timing and rhythm of the offense. So if you want to have a chance to win these next 6 weeks, as Ron is kind of really focused and honed in on these next 6 weeks, Kyle Allen is the guy that gives you the best shot to do that. Now, I'm not saying Kyle Allen is the end all be all, and this guy is a world beater. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just telling you, with what we have at quarterback, he's the guy that gives you the best chance. So hopefully he's healthy. I don't know what the injury actually is. That's the thing that was so confusing. I thought he had a concussion. Seeing that hit from Ramsey, helmet to helmet, looked like a concussion. Then we hear it's an arm injury. Well, what did you injure with your arm? And then he was cleared to go, but he didn't come back in. So how severe is this injury anyway? You know, was it precautionary to keep him out of the game, or did Ron want to see what Alex could do? I don't know. Rage Gaming. Thank you for the super chat, Rage Gaming, or R4 Gaming, or Forge Gaming. I don't know how to read that one. Sorry. Or Rorge Gaming, whatever the case may be. No second half first downs and -6 yards offensively. Yeah, it was bad in the second half. But I tweeted this out as the second half started. We got no chance with Alex Smith back there. None. Zero. I tweeted that out before we even took the field for our first possession of the second half. I said, I hope that Kyle Allen is coming back, because if he's not, we got no chance in the second half of this game. None. Not with Alex Smith back there. Zero chance. None. That wasn't hard to see. To see that one coming a mile away. Key himself says, why did we let the Rams coach go? He's good. You know, it's funny. Hindsight is 20/20 again. I didn't want to get rid of Jay when McVay got the job. I didn't want to because remember, Jay was coming off of a couple of successful seasons. 2015 was a playoff year. We won the division. 2016 was a 8-7 in 1 year where we should have made the playoffs if Dustin Hopkins didn't miss a couple of kicks. And all we had to do was beat the Giants, who were playing meaningless game in week 17. That being said, Sean got hired that offseason, and Jay was coming off of 2 straight winning seasons. I didn't want to get rid of Jay. So in the moment, I was all team Jay Gruden. Like, give Jay a shot. Hindsight again is 20/20, and you're saying, man, get Jay the hell out of here, keep Sean McVay. And this team would look totally different. But in the moment, they did the right thing. At least I felt like they did. And so it is what it is. So those are all the super chats. We got 7 minutes left in the program today. If I missed your super chat, there are so many comments flooding the comment section. I apologize greatly if I missed your super chat. I'm trying to get through them a lot faster. I thought I got through them a lot faster today, but I might have missed 1 or 2 in there, and I apologize if I did. But I have another super chat here from The Blocker. Thank you for the super chat, The Blocker, who says, we are in no position to look at the Giants and think it's an easy win. It could get ugly if we don't bring it next week. Absolutely. We are in no position to look at anybody. I just told you the season starts next week. That's a game where you look at it and you say, we should be able to be competitive and have a realistic shot at winning. No, I don't think you can look at any team and say, hey, we ought to beat them. Because it wouldn't shock me if their offense, which is anemic, scores 30 on us. Everybody else is doing it. Why the hell not? Daniel Jones threw 5 touchdown passes against us last year. Why can't he do it again this year? So nothing's guaranteed, but I can tell you this. We weren't going to beat Baltimore last week, and we weren't going to beat the Rams this week. So at least next week, you look at that game against the Giants in the Meadowlands, you say, hey, we got a shot. Nobody should be talking about an easy win. We're not in a position to look at anybody as food. I told you that already. Everybody is looking at us as food. Okay? For the 3rd straight week, no, 4th straight week, we lose by double digits, 14 plus. We came into this game having lost by 14 or more in each of our last 3 losses. Arizona beat us by 15. The Browns beat us by 17. And the Ravens beat us by 14 last week. And we lost by 20 this week. So we're getting our ass kicked. We're getting our asses handed to us every single week for different reasons. So we're in no position to look at anybody and say, oh, that's food we should eat. No, everybody's looking at us like food. So next week, the only thing you get with that game against the Giants, and the week after that versus the Cowboys, and the week after that with the Bengals, and the week after that with the Giants again, and the week after that with the Lions, and the week after that with the Cowboys again. The only thing you get is a chance. Unlike the last 2 weeks where there was no chance. You get a chance for the next 6 weeks. That's all we can ask for. We'll see how we handle it. Got another one here from Key himself. Thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Key himself, who writes, should we draft a quarterback, left tackle, wide receiver, or free safety first round? To me, that's not even up for debate at this point. You got to draft a quarterback. Quarterback of the future is not on the roster. And unless Washington does something crazy in free agency at the quarterback position, i.e. Cam Newton or Dak Prescott or something like that, you got to draft a quarterback. Got to draft a quarterback if you are Washington. So that's your first round pick to me. And then you go from there. And you may be able to take care of one or two of those needs that you have up on that list there. You may be able to take care of one or two of those via free agency. You know, there are going to be some quality free agents at the free safety position if they don't reach long-term deals with their respective teams, like a Justin Simmons in Denver or Harris in Minnesota, who we were really salivating over, and the Vikings decided to slap the franchise tag on him. You know, Justin Simmons, same thing. That's the guy that I wanted. More so than anybody else in free agency, I wanted Justin Simmons. The Broncos said, stop eyeing our merchandise. Slap the tag on him. So there will be some free agents at the free safety position that can play top-notch football that I wouldn't mind paying some money to if they become available. Receiver, there might be one or two guys out there that you look in and say, hey, they can help. But, you know, you don't necessarily have to spend draft capital on a receiver early in the draft to get a quality receiver. You can, as we saw with Terry, that was a third-round pick. You can find guys. You just got to scout well and find out what guys fit what you want to do best. But quarterback is definitely at the top of the list, for sure. Let's see. Got a super chat here from Brandon Hayes, who writes, I would love for the sun to shine on our dog ass for once. Watching other games, we look far behind the league. 3 to 5 good players on the team. I can't disagree with that. At times, when you watch other teams around the league, we're not even close. We're not even close. But what you also got to realize is when you play the hey, we're going to build this thing. We're in a rebuilding process. I don't think some of you understand that. I don't think you understand what that actually means and that whole concept of what rebuilding means. Rebuilding is when you tear something down and you start all over again, which is what we did this offseason. We tore this organization down, got rid of all of the parts that we thought were toxic, and we're trying to build this up the right way. And when you're going through this process, there are going to be a lot more pieces that you ultimately discard. As you start building, you're going to say, oh, don't need this John Bostic brick, throw that away. Oh, don't need this Troy Apke brick, throw that away. Oh, don't need this Dwayne Haskins brick, let's throw that away. Oh, don't need this Alex Smith brick, let's throw that away. Like, there are pieces that you're going to find out, oh, I don't need this piece. Let me get rid of it. But again, you can't get rid of all of those pieces or you have nowhere to live because you can't even build a house. So as they continue to try to build the foundation, they got to figure out who can play and who can't. So you're not going to fix all of these things. And guess what? Even with all this draft capital, we're not going to fix everything in this next offseason either. We're still going to have some holes on this roster. You got to remember, and this is what I keep trying to tell y'all, we were so bad last season, so terrible, that we didn't even have enough talent to even be compared with the rest of the league, period. So when we did some of the things that we did, think about it. Ronald Darby is a massive upgrade over Josh Norman. A massive upgrade. Now, when you look at the safety position, we might have downgraded there. For all of the shit that we used to talk about Monte Nicholson, this is terrible with Troy Apke. Landon is not playing confident football at times this season. The linebacker position, it's been a mess. This is not new news. It's less of a mess this year, but it's still a mess. It was worse last year. It was worse the year before that. But it's still not a great situation to be in at the linebacker position. But it is what it is. You're in the season. There's nothing you can do about it now. Because again, we weren't supposed to be in this position. Philadelphia and Dallas weren't supposed to be this bad. But they are. So now we've got to try to do something that we weren't prepared to do when the season first got started, which is, hey, let's try to win the division. We weren't prepared to do that. Ron didn't sign up to try to win the division in year one. That was not his thought process. The reason he kept telling us in the offseason, when you're in the military, it takes 3 to 4 years to change a culture. He said that at least 15 times this offseason. You know why? Because he was trying to tell us, hint, hint, wink, wink, that I'm coming in here and there's a lot of shit wrong and I got to try to fix it. And it's going to take me more than just 1 year, more than probably 2 years to fix it. But now that the division stinks, everybody wants to accelerate the process. That's not going to happen overnight. All you can ask for is us being competitive. And I think the next 6 weeks, we're going to be really competitive. I really believe that. Now, if we get our ass whooped by the Giants next week, that's a different conversation. And then I will start to concede that maybe we are a top 5 team. Maybe we will be drafted in the top 5. Maybe we are as bad as some of you say. But until that happens, because the level of talent and teams that we've played against this year has been really solid. Outside of Philadelphia, every team we've played has a winning record this season. Every single one of them. Okay? Arizona's 3-2. The Browns are 3-1. The Ravens are 4-1. And now the Rams are 4-1. So don't sit here and act like we've been getting our asses whooped by Jacksonville and Houston and the Giants. Like, once we start losing to the Giants and getting our ass whooped by the Giants and the Lions and the Bengals, that's when you can start telling me, and I will start to listen, that we're a 3-13 team and we're one of the worst 5 teams in the league and we'll be drafting top 5 in the draft. That's when we got our asses beat by teams that were supposed to beat our ass. We're not a good team yet. And the teams that we lost to are better than us. And we really, to be honest with you, we were competitive in every game except for this one. We were competitive. We were competitive against the Ravens last week. I never thought we were going to win, but we were competitive. We were competitive the week before that. We were winning 20-17 in the fourth quarter versus the Browns. And we were competitive against Arizona. And it was 20-0 at halftime, if you don't recall. We were getting beat pretty good. And we still found a way to almost get that to within a score. 1 possession game. So, I said all of that to say this. I told you the season starts for me next week. Next week is when we're going to get a real feel. Especially if Kyle Allen starts. I really feel good about him. If Kyle Allen starts, the season starts regardless of what. The season starts next week. If we're going to have ourselves a season, if we're going to be talking about meaningful games into November and into December, we got to find a way to beat the Giants. Or at least feel really good leaving that Giants game that, hell, we should have beat the Giants. And we did this, we did that wrong. And we'll beat them the next time we play them in a couple of weeks at home. But we'll see. Hey, look. Never said this was going to be easy. It's a rebuild. Nobody likes going through rebuilds. They're tough. JP. Thank you for the super chat. JP, greatly appreciate you. JP says, let the quest for 1-15 and Trevor Lawrence begin. He's been singing that song since like week 2 or 3. I'm not going to try to convince him otherwise. I'm just going to move on. But I know he's not the only one that feels that way. I had a guy send me a message on one of the videos the other day saying, hey, I know how competitive you are and you want to win, but if you really want to win, you'll lose and try to get Trevor Lawrence because he's a guy that can change this franchise. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I'm not willing to do what it takes to get Trevor Lawrence. If we want Trevor Lawrence bad enough, then we'll give up all the draft capital that we need to give up to get him. I'm not trying to go 1-15 to get him. I'm just not. Especially when this division is as bad as it is. You're telling me that we got to go 1-5 in the division, can't win another game the rest of the season, and we got to be a train wreck to get Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit through another year. Last year was so hard. It was so hard. I don't want to do that again. And this team, I'm telling you right now, this team is not as bad as last year's, and they won't allow us to get to that point where we're even having that discussion. I don't feel. But we'll see. Anyway, I digress. Got another super chat here from, let's see. Yeah, I got a super chat here from Brandon Hayes. Thank you for doubling up, Brandon Hayes. Double up. Greatly appreciate you, Brandon Hayes. Brandon writes, guarantee we will be the worst this year, bro. What quarterback will win us a game, bro? I'm cool with the draft capital. The Giants crushing the Cowboys right now. Really? Obviously I'm not watching the game. Really? The Giants are crushing the Cowboys. Interesting. The Cowboys stink too. And if the Giants win this week, that'll give them a bunch of confidence coming into the game with us next week, which will make us beating the Giants next week even sweeter, since you guys think we stink so much. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Zacchaeus Maggette III, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Zacchaeus Maggette III. Anyway, I digress. We've hit our hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and turn on this Giants game, start from the beginning and try to play catch up and see exactly what the hell is going on. I tell you what, something the Giants did last week, I think is going to carry through, and they may be the team nobody's talking about that may be able to do some things. I told you I like their coach a lot, Joe Judge. I told you that before the season started. Last week, they held this same Rams team that put 30 on our skull. They held them to 17 points and was in the ball game in a 10-9 game. The Giants ultimately may be the best team in this division. Why you bullshitting? We'll find out. If they dispose of the Cowboys today, get their first win, they got a chance to make it 2 in a row next week against us. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, I digress. I'll chop it up with you guys a little bit later on. Another rough loss for the home team, 30-10. Now 1-4 on the season. But look on the bright side. We're half game out of first place. Can you believe that? As bad as we look today, we are a half game out of first place. Who would have ever guessed? Unbelievable. Unbelievable that we are a half game out of first place. But that's where we sit. And I feel confident that a lot of you are going to feel differently about this team this same time come next week. I feel that way. I could be wrong. Okay? I've been wrong before. I guarantee you this team doesn't look as bad as it did today next week versus the Giants. I've already said it. Now, I may have to walk that back because I really think it hinges upon Kyle Allen and his ability to be able to play quarterback. I do not like Alex Smith under center right now. But we will see what the hell is going on. So, with that being said, I thank you guys for joining me tonight. Really appreciate you guys. And look forward to chopping it up with you in the near future, as this was quite the debacle. If I may say so myself. Really disappointed in the performance today by the team, but they were put in a tough spot, and I don't think the coaching staff did them any favors with some of the decision making throughout the course of this game. A lot of second guessing to be done throughout the course of the week, but at the end of the day, we were supposed to lose this game. Next week is a winnable football game. We'll see how we conduct ourselves throughout the course of the week. Let's hope that we get through this game without any big time injuries. Every week it seems like a guy that we didn't see walk off the field turns out to be injured and shows up on the injury report. We'll see what happens. You guys, have a good one. I'll see you next time. This has been Washington Football Overtime. Take care. LouieTeeNetwork.